Hey, soldiers, we just witnessed history that may bode well for the American economy, history that may get this country back on track to being of the people, for the people, by the people, and building an economy that serves the people. Now, what happened? Well, by now you know. For the first time in the history of this nation, the Speaker of the House, a constitutionally mandated position, and God forbid something happens to the president, vice president will take over. God forbid something happens to the vice president, then the Speaker of the House will take over. For the first time in our history, the Speaker of the House has been removed via vote, and it happened with our economy front and center. Here is Representative Matt Gaetz.
Mr. Speaker, high inflation is on the verge of bankrupting American families. Our economy is breaking in half. A typical American family can't afford to buy a house in 99% of U.S. counties. Inflation is stealing more than $700 a month from working Americans, nearly $9,000 a year. Kevin McCarthy is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and he has failed to take a stand where it matters. So if he won't, I will. I make no apologies for defending the right of every hardworking American to afford a decent life for themselves and their families, and we have a greater opportunity to do that and to build coalitions under new leadership. We have to rip off the Band-Aid. We have to get back on a better course. And Mr. Speaker, I don't know how this vote's going to go. Usually when a vote comes to this floor, it's pretty predetermined. And this one, I'm not so sure. But I am sure that we've made the right argument, that this place deserves single-subject spending bills, that we should have 72 hours to read a bill, that something that spends more than $100 million shouldn't be put on the suspension agenda such that we can't amend it, and there shouldn't be secret side deals made on a continuing resolution to lump Ukraine in with border security. That is not right for Ukraine or border security because it fails to give either of those issues the dignity that they would require. But we can return that dignity to this House. We can get back on a better path. We can have single subject appropriations bills. We can set a budget top line. We haven't had a budget in this place since I was in high school. So let's get a budget. Let's get our act together. Let's get on with it. Let's vacate the chair. And let's get a better speaker. I yield back.
And this is the result of his speech. At least 216 members of Congress agreed that Kevin McCarthy was not good for our economy and he had to go.
The yeas are 216. The nays are 210. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Kevin McCarthy has been ousted as Speaker of the House after 8 months. You know, him getting into the position was not smooth sailing. There was a lot of consternation and reservation around that. Hardline conservatives joined Democrats to fell California Republican after 9 months. Let's get the Democrat piece out of the way first. The Democrats, of course, are going to go along with the chaos because it's the opposition party, okay? The Democrats are savvy when it comes to how to play the game in Washington, D.C. Well, let's just say most of them are savvy. Some of them actually go outside the procedure and pull fire alarms and then say they didn't know the difference between what a fire alarm is and a doorknob. And maybe he doesn't. I'm talking about Jamal Bowman, of course. But with regard to the House Speaker, the House of Representatives of the United States removed Kevin McCarthy as Speaker after a small band of Republican dissidents moved to oust the Republican leader and Democrats didn't come to his rescue in a dramatic vote Tuesday with no precedent in American history. Now look, this is a Wall Street Journal I'm reading from, and I've got some reservations about how they phrase things. Small band of GOP dissidents. Making it sound like it was a fringe movement when apparently it wasn't. I mean, it carried the day, right? The California Republican, McCarthy, was dethroned after 9 months of fighting with hard-right conservative wing of the party. Let's stop there, too. Notice how they never characterize the Democrat Party as hard left, all right? They cast any opposition to the regime in the harshest terms. They do it all the time with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., even though he's a Democrat. They always introduce him as, vax conspiracy theorist or something like that. Just days after McCarthy engineered legislation to avert a government shutdown, legislation in which he made a deal to provide further funding to a small Eastern European country that's in martial conflict with another Eastern European country that is larger. You know what I'm talking about. I just can't be specific because the videos are doing pretty well lately, and I want that to continue. I don't want any problems with, Google. The developments plunged the House of Representatives into uncertain territory, as no speaker has ever been removed from office, and effectively puts the Republican Party at the mercy of a dozen or so, here they go again, dissidents. Of course, if this was happening on the left, the other, half of the roughly half of the House, it wouldn't be characterized as, the dissidents are not. Dissident, that's a word you hear when we're talking about, coup plotters and unstable regimes in foreign countries. The Wall Street Journal uses it here to apply to Republicans who want greater fiscal responsibility. That all of a sudden you're a dissident if you have a problem with this astronomical spiraling upward national debt. If you want to stop, spending and regain some sort of fiscal responsibility that will eventually make its way down to lowering inflation, allowing the American public to keep more of their money, you're a dissident, okay? And when I say lowering inflation, think about this. If we're able to get this debt under control, then we can raise interest rates and slow the economy, bring down inflation without having to worry about the high interest payments on the national debt, all right? So that's one benefit that would benefit one benefit that would work toward we the people. It's unclear who the next speaker nominee for Republicans would be. Whether McCarthy, because he can run again, maybe he makes a deal and says, okay, I get it, guys. You slapped my hand. I know that you're serious. I'll move more to the right. But think about this. McCarthy is a Republican from California. Now, we all know California, makes the Soviet Union look like, the Ronald Reagan Library. All right. So some of that, because you can't be the speaker if you're not a congressman, right? So some of that he has to play to the constituency at home. Otherwise, he's not a congressman, let alone Speaker of the House. So this could set up a potential replay of January's days-long speakers battle. And I think that's exactly what we will see. This is not going to be decided quickly. McCarthy was made vulnerable by the Republican Party's thin majority of just 221 to 212, and a rule pushed by conservatives that any single member could seek to remove him from office. And that's exactly what Matt Gaetz did. So, guys, we're literally in uncharted territory here because, again, we have never seen this happen in the history of the United States of America. Hopefully, the next speaker, whoever they may be, they need to concern themselves with the economic viability of the American taxpayer, the American citizen, okay? Let me say that again. The American citizen, not citizens of a country that is in Eastern Europe, not citizens of other countries who want to be citizens of this country. Where is the benefit to being a citizen if all of our money is going toward, other, peoples, and meanwhile we're being taxed for it, okay? Meanwhile, we're watching our national debt go straight up like a rocket, all right, and put us in danger of losing the world's reserve currency, getting higher taxes and higher inflation. How does this help us? All right, so Hakeem Jeffries, he is At such point where the Democrats take the House again, it is highly likely that Hakeem Jeffries will become the Speaker of the House for the Democrats, from the Democrat Party. He says they must find a way to end the House Republican civil war. No, please. Look, one of the superpowers of the left is that they are extremely unified, okay? Borg-like unity. You ever watch Star Trek: The Next Generation? The Borg, okay? Resistance is futile, that whole crowd. That's the type of unity that the left has. There is no room for debate, but the right has a different thing going on. And so this is not a civil war. This is a fight to really represent the party and distinguish it from the left. God forbid, right? All right, guys, look, watch this video right here. It's going to give you some information on how you might want to move financially so that whether or not we regain fiscal and monetary sanity, you will be in good economic stead. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.